So many times people head into some sort of nutrition counseling, they get told, well, eat 6 small meals a day to keep your metabolism going. This is a very common piece of dietary advice. When it's like, it's usually not helpful for people. Eating 6 times a day is very hard to eat less when you're eating more times, because people don't really like to just eat a little bit. You know, you eat a little bit, you're like, where is the rest? And so it's like, it's very hard to lose weight eating very frequently.
You want to eat and feel full.
Someone's trying to, like, you know, really lift tons of weight and get huge. Okay, eat 6 times a day. Like, that's going to help you bulk up, right? If you're trying to go in the opposite direction, is generally better to eat fewer times. Like, it makes logical sense, but the way that you do it is also important by, like, really keeping that food-free space open. Yeah. That's what makes it work.
I mean, and that's probably the last thing that for me was so kind of surprising, because I just, you know, I guess I just ingested it from our society. This idea that, like, you always want your blood sugar and everything nice and even. You always want to have some food in there, and the idea that, like, no, actually, it's probably quite healthy and maybe even healthier to have some food and then have some period of time where you haven't had any food and then have food and then just keep recycling that. And if that just means that all I did was skip breakfast, like, I'm all for it.
Especially if we bring it back to this diabetes situation, the system's approach to type 2 diabetes, everything about it is like, oh, you have type 2 diabetes now we have to keep it stable. Like, and that's the goal. And stable type 2 diabetes, blood sugar stable all the time, is much better than having type 2 diabetes uncontrolled, like wildly swinging blood sugars and blood sugar going way too high, which is very dangerous. Okay, so stable is much better than uncontrolled. But the thing that is not optimal about it is people keep blood sugar stable by giving people the advice, little bits of food all the time, right? And that's what does what you're saying. Keep the blood sugar stable all the time. The trouble with that is that's how you gain weight, and it's how you make diabetes worse over time, is by continually stimulating. That's how you develop diabetes to start with, basically, continuing that pressure all the time of the insulin, building up that callus, the insulin resistance keeps building up. The route that is better than keep diabetes stable is make diabetes go away. And that's the type of mindset that we just don't have in our culture. And it's one of the main things I want to help people do, because as we change that thinking and say, yeah, we want to open up this space, burn up the blood sugar, instead of just jamming it in the cells to make it go away and building up the total energy in the system, just open up the space and burn it up naturally. That's what reverses the process.
Yeah, I mean, that's to me, that sounds so intuitive and yet also so mind-blowing, because it's something that I had never heard of, thought about, anything.